Thank you everybody for coming today. Writing one's own music doesn't make an artist more or less popular, but it does add to the considered talent. These three artists I'm going to cover today are known not only for their voices and their ability to play instruments, but as well as for writing their own music and lyrics. According to the audience analysis I have taken earlier, most of my audience is not familiar with the songs or artists I am going to cover today. But hopefully after my speech is complete, they will have a basic understanding of these artists and perhaps an appreciation for these poetic legends. You can hide beneath your covers and study your pain. Make crosses from your lovers, throw roses in the rain. Waste your summer praying in vain for a savior to rise from these streets. But I'm no hero that's understood. All the redemption I can offer, girl, is beneath this dirty hood. With a chance to make it true somehow, tell me, what else can we do now? Bruce Springsteen released 4 albums in the 1970s. His first album was the first album that he released in the 70s was the first album that he ever released. This is his second album. His third album, and his 4th album, all released in the 70s. The track that I just quoted was Thunder Road, one of his best known titles, and is a love ballad titled Thunder Road. It's a song about escape and hope, and this idea of having another place to be and perhaps taking your loved one with you on this adventure of life. The title track, Born to Run, also is a classic Bruce Springsteen song that you'll still hear on the radio played today, even though it's 50 years past its time, it has remained a classic, a timeless classic per se. Many of the songs on this album carry the same theme. This idea of escaping a town or a small place or a bad place where you are and perhaps finding a better place or just having this hope of moving to a better town and then, of course, taking your loved one with you, which he decides to title Many Different Girls. But each one is just a telling of a story which really captures the listener and really shows off his ability to create stories and memorable people in each of his songs that really resonate with his listeners. Paul Simon also had the ability to take this idea of love and escape and put it into his writing as well. Most of his songs that he wrote were not inspired off of personal stories in his life, but more so drawing from emotions and things that he read and aspects in history. One of his most popular songs, which quickly rose to the charts when it was released in 1970, was A Bridge Over Troubled Water. He writes, so when you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you, I will take your part. Oh, when darkness comes and pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down. Like I said, this was a gospel-inspired melody that Paul Simon wrote. The whole entire song has many biblical themes to it, which really reflects the listener's idea of a person being there for another person. And it's truly a beautiful song that, like I said, was very popular in its time, but is often overshadowed by Paul Simon's other song, Sound of Silence. But either way, Paul Simon has this ability to paint a beautiful picture with his writing and really make people see this imagery and analogies of water and the bridge and having this support and just being washed clean and just being there for one another. Speaking of painting a picture, Don McLean's Vincent is a beautiful song which was inspired by Vincent van Gogh. It begins.
Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day, with eyes that know the darkness in my soul.
That song comes from the album titled American Pie, which was released in 1971. American Pie, which is the title track to the song, has also often overshadowed Vincent. In my opinion, Vincent is the more beautiful, poetic song versus the other song, telling the story of Vincent van Gogh's life, but also using the analogy of this painting, Starry Night, to show the darkness that Vincent was going through with the different shades and this idea of night, but also having these stars and this hope that he looked for. He was a starving artist that looked for an escape from the pain. Anyways, Don McLean is able to capture this beauty in his song and is really able to show off his songwriting ability, but also his ability to write music, and it's just something so beautiful that really resonates again with the listener. These three artists I have covered today are still remembered by many. 50 years after all these songs came out, they're still played on the radio. They're still known as classics even till this day. These artists are still heralded as some of the greatest in songwriting history, and as well as for their ability to play music and sing. I hope that all of you have been able to learn something and perhaps have some sort of appreciation for these poetic legends. Thank you.